Says I'm live. I had to give it a few seconds last time for it to pick up my audio. But anyways, hey guys, I'm Big John in Big Man, Alaska, here in Anchorage, Alaska, and I'm here to talk about a couple options as far as what I'm doing for my carnivore routine and how I'm doing it on a budget. Because a lot of us out there, it's hard for us to get out and spend a ton of money on meat and beef products and stuff like that. If you live in some of the far lower 48 states, it's a lot more affordable, especially if you got local ranches and stuff like that to rely on. Now, we do have some options here in Alaska, and they are typically out towards the Palmer region, and it's quite a drive for me to go out there and pick up meat products. I was just told this the other day, that these options are available to pick up local meats and stuff like that. So at some point we will be doing a video about, potentially going out there and checking out this place. And yeah, if we got some money, we might actually make some purchases, but we have to go check it out and see what the prices are, because local meat prices tend to be a little bit higher at times compared to what we can actually find here in our area. So this is what I got today. Big giant tube of meat. We found this at our local Costco business center, and it's pretty good stuff. It's 80/20 meat. Let's see, it's $29.99 for 10 pounds. So what I've come up with is I'm going to take this big tube of meat. We're going to do this live. I'm going to get my hands all messy and gross. So hopefully I can keep you entertained while I'm taking care of this. I do have a doctor's appointment here pretty soon, and my battery will probably die throughout the live stream. So just expect that. It's just the random shenanigans that happen here at Big Man, Alaska. I do things on a whim at times. So yeah, I just try to keep things flowing as it goes. But anyways, wow, I went and watched a live stream, a vegan live stream, and the thumbnail was totally misleading. It was the guy that was on the thumbnail was totally different than the guy that was in the feed. But I was just interested to hear, some of their topics, their vegan topics, and how they explained it, because they weren't very witty. As for a guy that's paid a lot of money, and this is his job, is to sell the sell the vegan diet. And there was a lot of questions being asked, and I was just I was a fly on the wall, just trying to see what was going on there. So I wanted to, some of the questions were, and a lot of the questions tend to be, where do you get your protein? How can I make a recipe with really good protein? And he kind of spun it around in a way that he just put it right back on the viewer. And it's like he's not giving advice. He's telling them to, oh, well, we have plenty of recipes in our cookbook and stuff like that. Or he's directing it to his partner, which happened to have been a female. And it was just like, what are you doing, man? This is a mess. And none of it sounded coherent in any way. There was really no good back and forth conversation between him and his people in the stream. So it was pretty amazing. Who do we got on here? Solus of Lara. Hey buddy. Hey, how you doing? Big John from Alaska. I've been losing weight on the carnivore diet, and I've also been losing weight with a lot of other fasting principles, and I try to keep it easy as possible for people to understand, because weight loss doesn't have to be hard. Now I need a cutting board, so I got to set you down for just a second. And hopefully, there we go. All right. Now there's something weird I got going on here. Now we were cleaning up around the kitchen, and something slid up underneath our microwave. So we're going to flip this around. I want to show you guys what this is. This is the most bizarre thing in the world. Okay. Da-da-da. Come on, flip around, camera. There we go. All right, so what I have here is this Toshiba microwave. I don't microwave hardly anything anymore unless I'm just like trying to reheat a couple things, or maybe a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. But this is just a regular plain Jane Toshiba microwave. Something slid up underneath here, and we went and tried to pick something up, and then something amazing happened. Not amazing, but kind of scary. So watch this. See if it'll do it. Oh, it's not doing it now, but it's turning the light on. And before when I was doing it, it would actually turn the microwave on for some reason. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Now it's on. Check that out. You can see the plate inside there spinning. What in the world is going on? There's no timer. I'm probably going to screw up my hands because it's radiation. But yeah, now you get what I'm talking about there. That's a little freaky, isn't it? That's nuts. But anyways, all right. So what I got going on here, boom you up a little bit. See if I can get a decent angle on my little workstation here, because this is you know, just one of those random things I like to do. Just get a little creative and start making things. So now I got to readjust you a little bit and hopefully get a decent angle. So I got a cutting board out here. You don't really need a cutting board. It's just helpful to have somewhat of a clean surface. But okay, I'm going to make 24 patties out of this, and we're going to put them in these Ziploc bags. So in order to make 24 patties, I got to have 6 Ziploc bags. And the first thing you want to do is get the Ziploc bags ready. So just get them open a little bit, because once your hands get all covered in, you know, the meat fats and stuff like that, it's just kind of hard to, you know, do anything else. So you don't want to be sitting there trying to pry these bags open one at a time with you know, greasy fingers from the meat fat. And the meat fat is what fuels the body. I mean, it's what we're burning as an energy source as a carnivore. So yeah, it's good to have a lot of meat. It's good to have a lot of, you know, somewhat fatty meat choices too, in my opinion. So we're going to flip that around to stay away from the label. And you don't really have to use a knife, but it's just kind of helpful. And I'm just going to make a slice all the way down. Maybe my knives need to be sharpened. So we're just going to run that knife all the way down to the other end. That way when you get down there, it's not such an issue. And then I'm just going to start peeling this back. And I can get a cut started so I can get that peeled back and kind of out of the way. And hopefully the image is kind of in screen there. I'm not sure what's going on. But I'm also going to be planning another live stream tonight, probably shortly after we do my doctor's appointment. And then, yeah, we're going to hopefully bring you guys on a little journey, which is going to be to the Rendezvous, because they're doing a blanket toss tonight. And basically all I do is I just take my hand and I just kind of lop off just about an inch worth of meat. I just set those aside. Then I'll lop off another inch, and I'll just keep going, you know, all the way down, you know, to the end of this piece of meat. And then I'll just roll these into burger patties with my hand and put them in the plastic bags. And I did this a couple weeks ago when we had enough money to go buy a tube like this, and it worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to. And those meat patties went fast. They went, I mean, my family loved them, and there really wasn't much to them. So basically all I do is just pat these into the shape of a burger patty, and then I start sliding them in the bags. But I didn't have to, when I was cooking them, I didn't have to worry a whole lot about these falling apart, because since the fat content is about 20%, it actually holds itself pretty well. So these cooked up, you know, absolutely amazing. And I can eat about 4 of these. And I'm not sure the actual weight on each one of these patties, but you just put them in the bag like that, and then, you know, form some more patties. But yeah, I just thought this was an interesting way to show you guys, yeah, what's he doing in Alaska? Meat costs a lot up here. And most of you know that pretty much everything in Alaska is shipped. So unless it's made here locally, and we don't make a lot of stuff here locally, so we got to ship just about everything. It comes up on a boat, and we get a couple boats here a week that come in, and they come up from Seattle, and these boats bring in pretty much all of our groceries. And when the pandemic was going on, you know, I was doing some numbers and I was doing some math, and I was watching the groceries clear off the shelves as the pandemic was happening. And I was like, wow, we seriously only have about a 2-week supply of food up here in Alaska. You know, if everybody were to just take a run on the stores, that's about all we'd have. I mean, that's nuts, in my opinion, because yeah, we rely on stuff coming up the road. And granted, we can hunt and fish, and a lot of us do. My wife's an avid hunter and fisher, by the way, and she loves, you know, wild salmon and stuff like that. So that makes a big difference on how much it costs to live up here. Because if she wasn't hunting and fishing and making a lot of dinners, you know, out of the stuff she catches, she might get moose. She might go bird hunting for ptarmigan and stuff like that. She likes to grouse hunt. And she just brings home a lot of things. And my relatives as well up here, you know, they hunt as well. They like to go moose hunting. So if they have excess moose meat, they tend to gift it to us. And that helps out our food supply throughout the winter. And if one of the family members, even like ourselves, if we run short on meat or fish or moose or whatever it is, you know, somebody else might have a surplus of it in their freezer, or we might have a surplus of it, and we'll actually share that, you know, with everybody else. That way, you know, everybody stays fed. We're not all spending all our hard-earned cash just on a food. And you can go broke up here, you know, just by buying groceries the wrong way. Because if you're not frugal with how you buy groceries, I mean, you can seriously put yourself in a hurting situation pretty quickly. And I found that out when I moved here, because pretty much like a lot of the canned products in the store, I used to say $5, $5 for everything. It seems like everything cost $5 when I first moved up here. And now since inflation, everything's starting to cost around like $10. It's like, man, for simple stuff too. It's like, you want a box of macaroni and cheese, depending on where you are in Alaska, you could be spending $5 or $10 on a box of macaroni and cheese, which seems absolutely insane to somebody that's living in the Midwest, because, you know, you guys are getting your stuff a whole lot cheaper. But yeah, just a little bit of comparison of, you know, how different it is here. Now, I had friends that lived in Hawaii throughout the pandemic. They're currently stateside now, but they left Hawaii because everything was getting crazy. The politics, there was those fires in Maui. Business was getting really hard, and there were plumbers and welders and stuff like that. And they kind of abandoned ship from Hawaii, because they were like, man, this place is just, there's stuff going on here, there's stuff wrong. So they left the place. And now unfortunately, the locals are the ones that usually end up struggling through it all. But yeah, see who we got in here. I can't really read the phone at that angle, and there's my wife, Real Alaska Fishing. Now, if you guys want, yeah, check her out, Real Alaska Fishing, REEL, Alaska Fishing. She likes to make fishing videos, and she is really good on making short content. I really enjoy the way that she can just knock out short videos. I stink at making short videos. I tend to thrive a little bit better with these live streams, and I also tend to do some pretty decent long form videos, but it took a lot of time. It took a lot of effort to learn how to do it all. And it's not easy, you know, trying to be in a household that's just noisy all the time and full of kids. And there's a lot of distractions going on here at times, but the kids are all at school. The wife was just getting back from the gym. She went out to exercise, and she does amazing when she goes out to the gym. I mean, she's one of those people that does really, really well when going to the gym every day. I'm not one of those people. I don't enjoy going to the gym. And this is why I teach people how to lose weight with little to no exercise, because that's just how I live my life. But years ago, when I was younger, even when I was closer to my wife's age, and she's a lot younger than me, but yeah, I was kind of a gym rat. I used to like to go to the gym all the time. But now I'm getting closer to 50 years old, so I'm slowing down a little bit. Actually, I'm slowing down a lot. And I have to take a lot more consideration to my health than I did in years past. I'm kind of hacking up all this stuff, but it's a good thing it's ground beef, huh? Or else this would be an absolute freaking chaotic mess. But yeah, my hands are greasy. The knife's getting slippery. And you don't really need a knife for this. It just helps me portion it out. So, and I'll get through these pretty quick. These are some really fat patties. I think I'm making these a little fatter than the last ones we had. But every time my wife makes a burger, I tell her, I said, it looks like you're building a house. You know, because she still makes the traditional burgers at times. It's got the bun, and they got lettuce and tomato and onions. And after it's all said and done and stacked up like that tall, and she's a real tiny lady. And it just looks funny when she's putting this big giant burger up to her face. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna make a mess. But yeah, so opening these bags ahead of time is super helpful, you know, because my hands are, you know, they're kind of slimy. It's kind of like if I was working with fish too. So now if I were to use a food saver type bag, the biggest thing I found out when using food savers is you got to keep where you're going to seal absolutely clean. You want to get all the moisture, as much moisture as you can, off the fish or the meat products before you put them in a food saver bag, because as soon as you hit that vacuum sealer button, it's going to try to suck all the liquid towards you, and that's what ruins your seal, and potentially will get you, issues with bacteria, food poisoning, and stuff like that. So you got to make sure your seal is super clean. And with these Ziploc bags, it's not a big deal to get the seal a little dirty, because these are going straight in the freezer, and they're not going to last very long in our freezer. I thought about cooking some of these up, but today I'm doing a fasting day. So if I have anything to eat, now you can fast with some food. Now, some of the foods that I like to eat on a fasting day, some people say, oh, you can't be eating food if you're fasting, right? I'm going to try to tip you guys up a little bit, maybe, and get my stuff all covered in yucky poodoo. But so if you want to do fasting and stay in ketosis, some things that I figured out was to pick your foods wisely, because you can stay in ketosis, you can stay in autophagy if you eat the right foods. Now, sardines in water. You don't want sardines in seed oils or any type of oil, because those oils cause inflammation in most of us. So if you stay away from the seed oils like soy or vegetable oil or packaged in weird stuff, your chances of having adverse reactions to eating sardines is extremely low. So I get my sardines packed in water, and then I eat 2 cans of sardines, whatever choice of mustard, that's what I use to add on top of the sardines. That way it gives me a little bit more flavor, and it also makes it a lot more enjoyable when you're eating those nasty little fishies. Because if you just sit there and look at them in the can, they're not my favorite thing to look at. So I'm probably going to have less than 24 burgers here, because I made those other ones on camera in a hurry. So, but what I did with the last 10 pounds of meat we had is I made 24 burger patties. Now I eat 4 burger patties for myself as a meal. That's $1.25 per burger. That's $5 per meal. And quite often I live an OMAD type lifestyle where I might only eat that one meal per day. So I might have 2 burgers in the morning, save the other 2 for dinner, or I might eat all 4 burgers at the same time. Now, something else I've been doing lately, as advised from the carnivore community, is because I'm trying to lose weight. That's my goal in what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get back down under 300 pounds, and I'm trying to stay there for a period of time. I'm just going to try to stay there, even though I've lost over 100 pounds, and I feel fantastic. I do. I feel amazing. I feel more active, more energetic. My testosterone levels have improved. And who do I got in here? Cena Henderson. Sadly, I am in South California. Southern California. That's a hard place to live. I used to deliver freight to Southern California, and every time I went there, I was never happy, because they didn't like truck drivers there. They have special rules in California for truck drivers that we can't go more than 55 miles an hour, and they're very strict on that. We used to call it a communist state, similar to some Midwest states like Illinois and Ohio that have split speed limits. So it's just dangerous to have trucks going so slow, and then you have cars that are with a speed limit of 70 mile an hour, like in California. So they're running by you. They're doing about 100, 120 mile an hour at times, and you're going 55 mile an hour. You're just a target. And when they're not paying attention, which happens a lot, they wind up running up the back ends of these trucks. And then they want to claim it's our fault because we were in the way. So it's just one of those things. So, oh man, this is a lot harder to do on camera than I thought it was going to be, because I really took my time the last time I did this. It'd be really precise and careful and stuff like that. But yeah, right now I have I have about 12 burger patties made up right now, and that should bring me up to 16 burger patties. Then I'll have 16, 17, 18, 19. I should have about 20, maybe a little over 20 burger patties, but still, even though the burger patties are bigger, this is the way to go. I mean, if you like this, and the thing about carnivore is I crave this. This is one of the meals that I crave when I come home. I am actually happy to come home and cook up burgers in a cast iron skillet and just cook them up on nice slow heat. That way they get plenty of time to just sit there and render in their own fats and juices and stuff like that. And if you've ever tried to cook bacon at the same time as other meats, don't do that. I did that. That was not okay. It doesn't work because the two cook at different temperatures, plus the stuff begins to burn to the bottom of the pan. And we don't want burnt meat, because burnt meat does create carcinogens. So we need to be aware of that. Now, a little bit of char, like from a barbecue grill, not too bad, but you don't want that real nasty black stuff on there. Uh-oh, there's my wife. I'm thankful for you, dear. My hands are, you jumped up there. My hands are freeze when I make the patties. Yeah, making these burger patties is cold on the hands. And since I started Carnivore, I lost a lot of the weight in my hands. The inflammation in my fingers went down. And in Alaska, it gets cold. And just going outside today to start my Jeep, I had to pry the door open on my Jeep because it's been sitting out there for a while. I don't drive it much in the wintertime because I need to get new tires. And hopefully I can get them soon, maybe next week or possibly Saturday, depending on my schedule. But like I said, if you're interested, stick around. And for later, because I'm going to do another vertical live stream of hopefully the Rendezvous festival, if I can get to it. They're doing a blanket toss, which is where they put people in a blanket and they toss them up in the air. Now, the Alaskan natives used to do this for hunting and fishing and stuff like that, which makes it really cool. And if you come back for that, yeah, we're totally going to talk about that and discuss what's going on there. I think my cats are revolting by the door. For some reason, they like the door because there's a little gap underneath their door. And then, so they go over there and they hang out, but they like the carpet in front of the door. My cat Gray Bear just absolutely uses it kind of like a scratching post. So she's always hanging out by the door. Now my other female cat, Molly, likes to hang out there as well because she gets to sit there and breathe in the outside air without actually having to be outside. And for a while there, she was an outside cat, but we lost 2 cats while living here. And it's something I had to consider because we're living in the city now. We used to live out in the valley, which is a really rural area. Well, it's more remote than Anchorage. So we're in the city here. So when your animals get out here in town and they get spooked by a loud noise, exhaust pipe or something like that, they're gone. I mean, they could be gone 5 neighborhoods over and somebody could pick them up and you'll never see that cat or dog again. So I declared that all our animals were going to be indoor animals, with the exception of our dog. She's a really good dog. You don't have to worry about her too much. All right, we're gonna probably make 2 patties out of that last little bit that I got here. I got 4 patties worth to kind of mush up here. That one's a little weak, so we're gonna make that a little thicker. And having the exact same size patties all the time, I like that. I like a little bit of variety in the size of meat. If you're serving kids, for instance, it's nice to have some random smaller patties at times. And I know my daughters absolutely adore burgers here, even if I cook them in a pan, which is total different texture and fat content than cooking them out on the grill. They just love it. They're like, wow, I just love burger night. And sometimes we add a little bit of extra seasoning to it. I think Kinder's provides a seasoning here. I have it on hand. It's probably going to slip out of my hands. Not the best ingredients inside of this, but this is yummy stuff. And sometimes I'll sprinkle this on my burgers and put it on my steak. And since it's only a little sprinkle, you're not going holy high hog off the rails when it comes to carnivore type eating. Since I started this weight loss journey, I have not really focused too much on the little things like the sauces or the shake on type ingredients or stuff like that. Some of the ingredients I have taken out because they, you'll know it when they do something different to you. You'll feel the difference, maybe in your attitude. Your fingers might start swelling. You might get a little swelling in your ankles and feet. And that's usually where I feel it first, is in my ankles and feet. And then at times I might get some swelling in my other joints. And before I started doing carnivore and losing weight, I had swelling, inflammation, chronic back pain. everything hurt. Everything. I mean, it hurt to sit down. I wouldn't be able to stand up here and do this. I mean, if I did, it would have been like for 5 minutes. And we've been running this stream now for 25 minutes. You got 9 people watching. Hi, guys. And I got 7 likes. If you could just like the stream, it's really helpful for spreading the content around. And I appreciate it. If you support Carnivore, by all means, yeah, hit the like button. If you don't support Carnivore, then I'm sorry. That's not much I can do there, because this is what the channel's about. And this is basically what my weight loss journey is right now. It's a series of losing weight with doing all kinds of different things. I'm not just losing weight with just Carnivore. I'm losing weight with some fasting principles added in. But like I said, if you want to lose weight and actually eat some food, sardines is a great one. It kickstart your ketosis. It gets you fired up right away. It also makes you a chatterbox. It makes you makes your mental clarity really hyper focused. I'm doing pretty good today, considering I haven't had sardines today. I thought about it before the stream. I was like, you know what? I'll just try this out. See how I perform today without the sardines. And then another thing I like to add in on a sardine fast, and this is food. I mean, you can eat while doing a fast, and you can stay in ketosis while actually eating food if you do it this way. So like 2 cans of sardines in the morning with a little bit of mustard, whatever type of mustard you want. That helps the fishies go down. And then I like to add in eggs. So if I eat eggs and I'm doing a fast, I found out the hard way, because I did my first egg fast. I was only eating like 3 eggs per meal. I was starving. I was so hungry. I was also miserable that entire fast because I was hungry. I was like, and when you do a fast, you don't want to be miserable. But I found out I could eat basically as many eggs as I wanted. That changed up everything. And I still got similar results to when I ate, only 3 eggs. So I think I lost maybe anywhere between 7 and 14 pounds when I did a 5-day egg fast. And that was, 3 eggs per meal throughout the day. So what's that? A total of 9 eggs per day. Super low calorie, almost too low calorie in my opinion. So it's not a sustainable fast. It's not something you want to do from 1 week to the next. Now it is perfectly safe to do it like every 2 to 3 weeks. You can do an egg and a sardine type fast, and you will drop weight. Just it'll come right off. Now the water weight comes off incredibly fast. That happens for everybody. So yeah, we just keep that in mind. If you're currently morbidly obese and you're struggling, I was struggling. I needed help. I sent out tons of Mayday signals to, all kinds of people trying to learn more about fasting, trying to learn more about weight loss. I got wrapped up in the keto community for a little while. And years ago, I did do a vegan practice for about 7-8 months. I was miserable. I was grumpy. This conversation wouldn't be happening because I'd be arguing with myself on the screen because I just don't like the way I look at times. And it's just that kind of nonsense that drove me away from eating a vegan type lifestyle. For one, being hormonal, that's no fun. And that was back when I was in pretty decent health. I was eating the standard American crap diet, fast food, truck stop type foods. And I was always in and out of convenience stores, doing stuff like that. So today it looks like I made about 22 burger patties instead of 24, which is still fantastic for $30. That's a lot of burgers. That's some pretty thick burgers too, because there's some that are a lot thicker than they were the last time. And either way, it's going to work. So we're going to wash our hands and get all the goobers off. And wow, there's a lot of stuff gets on your hands. I could have worn gloves. I have gloves. I don't know why I didn't wear them. So yeah, I'll get the initial puke off. Then we'll talk about some other stuff, because this is just fun stuff, and it's fun stuff to share, because when a lot of people begin carnivore in general, the first concern, just like mine, because your anxiety levels up, tendencies are you might be morbidly obese like me, and we all know anxiety just is floored through the roof when you're morbidly obese. You got super anxiety, you're fighting depression all the time, you're just looking for excuses to not do something, is what I found out. I was making more excuses not to eat 100% carnivore, and I still struggle with 100% carnivore. But I was just constantly making excuses why not to do stuff, or why not to buy something, or why not to go out the door and actually be more physically active. Because 90% of weight loss is in our head. And once you understand that what's holding you back from weight loss isn't what you're eating, it's what's going on inside your head. It's you're not educating yourself around the basics. You know, simple little things like flipping the ingredients around, understanding what's on the labels. That was one of my biggest downfalls, is I didn't understand what was on the labels. I was just eating food blindly, thinking I was making a conscious decision, and I was eating the wrong stuff. And I would do that over and over and over again. Now, Meat and Marriage, they talked about, what was it today? Diet sodas. You know, that kind of put the husband of the relationship right back into, you know, a pretty troubling situation. You know, he was getting random hand swelling and, you know, feet issues and joint issues and stuff like that. But that was just with, you know, diet type drinks. And I used to deliver this stuff, and I did mention this in their feed on their video. And if you don't know who they are, their YouTube channel is called Meat and Marriage, and just go check them out. And you know, they're a really small channel. They're fun to watch. They do banter back and forth from time to time, and it makes it a little bit interesting. I mean, they're their own channel. It's nice to see other people doing different things. And just to be on YouTube, you don't have to be perfect. I mean, if I had to be perfect, I wouldn't be here, because I'm not perfect. I live in a dirty house. I mean, my house is not filthy dirty, but it's dirty compared to those people that want to live in a museum. And I'm not about living in a museum, because we live here. You know, we have real life expectations with our bodies and what we're doing. So we just continue with that. But we do wipe the counters a lot, because our cats are all over the counters and the kitchen table. So I did have people actually unsubscribe from the channel a while back because my cats were on the kitchen table. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But that's also, you know, my cats are part of the channel. They become part of the channel. They're also interesting. And I think my cats might have a better following than I do, because people are they get disappointed when the cats don't show up. So I try to include them in the videos whenever possible. And they used to jump on the table when I first started doing YouTube, and they would make me so frustrated and angry. And as I went along with Carnivore and losing weight, the fun part about it is my anxiety levels came way down. You know, just because of the way I'm eating, just because of the weight I'm losing, and the healthier I'm getting. So since my anxiety levels came down, and I found out that people actually enjoy the interruptions of what the cats are doing, because sometimes they'd come through and just tear up everything as I'm trying to talk like this, and just knock over the camera. Sometimes the light would fall off the stand, and it would just be a complete chaos mess, or they just attack something over here in the corner. I was like, you know what, just let it roll. Just let it roll, just go with it, you know, because it's important to show real life too. You know, when you're creating videos, you're doing live streams, you know, especially live streams, you know, if something happens in the house during a live stream, that's what you're going to get. It's going to be as real as ever. I think my wife snuck in the house. I heard something behind me, either that or it's somebody stealing my TV. I don't know, but I did hear extra noise in the house. But okay, let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 bags of 4 right here. I'll get you. I don't like spinning the camera around, but okay, this is what I got out of that 10-pound roll. So I got 5 of these Ziploc bags with 4 in them, and then I got 1 Ziploc bag with two burger patties there. So, and that's perfect. All right, and there's my dog. She's basically melting on the floor, and I kind of pray for this dog, because she was stuck on the floor not too long ago, and that was a little scary. Oh, Gray Bear's here. Hold on. Let's see, everybody say hi to Gray Bear. Now there's a story behind this cat right here. This fuzzy little thing. This cat used to force me to put a harness on her and take her outside for walks. And I've been neglecting her. I need to take her outside for walks. But she's been incredibly fun, just to keep my weight loss going in general. So, and she's been a big role, you know, in the video creation and stuff, she's random. I also have a couple more other cats that do random things and fighting stuff. And there goes one right now. Oh, he's looking at the water. There he goes, doink. All right. So we leave the water running here, a little trickle. The cats like to drink it. Plus, in the winter times here in Alaska, it's just good to have the water running. So you can probably see these Band-Aids on my nose. So my glasses created these sores, and along with my CPAP mask. And this has been something I've been struggling with. And today I have a doctor's appointment to talk to the sleep doctor to see if I can either come off my CPAP altogether or get another sleep study, because I'm DOT compliant. I have to use my CPAP even if it's not necessary until they say I don't have to use it. So if they call me up like right now and be like, hey, I need to see your numbers on your machine, then I have to provide that. So that's another issue I'm going through. And I am working on building a full-length video around my documentary of my CPAP experience from, you know, before I got started, what I went through up to the frustrations, the battles, the fights, and stuff like that I had to go through to actually get a prescription, not to mention trying to get a hold of a machine. It was an absolute nightmare. And then my weight loss journey, you know, that led me to this point to where I can actually physically sit here and talk to you guys now compared to what I used to be able to do. Good Saturday morning from Australia. Oh, it's already Saturday morning. And Priscilla, hello, Priscilla. That's one of my coworkers right there. She's an amazing truck driver, and she knows a lot more than she lets on. So yeah, she's great to have as a coworker, and I'm looking forward to hopefully working with her again this summer. Some of you have been following along with my current new employment, which was supposed to have been with the union, but they're not treating me like a human. They're not communicating with me. So it's unfortunate that I'm just not going to be able to do that, because I need to be treated better to show up to work. And then I need more notice. And hey, you got to be to work in 2-3 hours. It's like, well, that's not enough time, because I didn't sleep all day, or I have family life. I need to take care of my family, my kids. And it's just hard, because YouTube is a full-time job. For those of you that didn't know anything about YouTube or content creation, anybody that's involved in it and that's serious about it, it's a full-time job. And then if you're not making money at it, it's still a full-time job, but then you have to go work a regular job. So you got to balance out the two. I mean, you got to do YouTube. It's fun. It's my passion. I like to get out here in front of people. Cat just went, I wish I could have shown you that. That was crazy. But I like to get out here and share my experiences with everybody else, because losing weight with little to no exercise is something I feel that everybody should learn. You don't have to go running on a treadmill. You don't have to sign up for a gym. I mean, you can lose weight and do next to nothing. You know, once you figure out a few things, you know, how ketosis works, how autophagy works, how basic fasting principles work, and don't starve yourself. That's not good weight loss ever. But all right, let's see who else is in here. Let me list Lindy. I appreciate you showing up for the live stream today. We just did a live stream about how to basically package meat and stuff, like how I package mine. That's just going to sound way wrong. Somebody could use that sound bite and twist that on one up completely. But I got a 10-pound roll of 80/20 burger meat from Costco. Now the roll cost $29.99. Last time I made 24 burger patties, and I put those in Ziploc bags, and I freeze them in the freezer. That way, whenever I come home, and I always make 4 burgers at a time. Doesn't matter if I'm going to eat them right now or not, because I can just throw whatever I don't eat in a Tupperware, and then I can just reheat those later on in the day if I need to. And they get eaten fast. I mean, they don't sit in the fridge for more than a day if they go in a Tupperware. So, I mean, yeah, it's great. It's nice to have something quick and easy. And it takes a little time. It takes a little preparation. But it's also like what we need to do with ourselves. We need to take some time, be realistic with our time frame of everything going on, and have expectations. Wow, these cats are just spazzing out here. Let's see, here's my big one. And she's not wanting anything to do with being held. But I like to hold her like this and rub her tummy, and she just looks up at the ceiling like almost cross-eyed. Now she's got issues with her eyesight because she's freaked out by sounds. Like if I take her outside, she appreciates being on a harness, which is strange. But she appreciates it because she's so skittish, and she knows if she happens to jolt and dart one way or the other, she's not going to be lost somewhere in the trailer park, and that gives her a lot more confidence when taking her outside. I like that about it. Free samples. I love burgers. Man, burgers are amazing. Yeah. I mean, so when I wasn't doing carnivore, I used to go to Carl's Jr. quite a bit. And this is when I was working out, and this is when I was in much better shape and a lot younger. But I would go there. I wouldn't even get the lettuce wrapped. I just order the burger, whatever burger I wanted. I just removed the bread. And that put me light years ahead, just eating that way. So I might be eating the lettuce or the tomato. And if there was something on there I didn't like, I could just scrape it off or remove it. And I wouldn't eat the French fries. So just package up the French fries, take them home, feed them to one of the kids or the dogs, or give them to the neighbor or homeless guy, whatever. I mean, just don't throw the food away. I don't think if you got to pay for the food, I believe you should take it home with you and figure out something to do with it. Put it in your compost pile, something. I mean, just don't throw it away if you're paying for it. It's my opinion. Cats are a hoot. That's from Tamron RVing Carnivores. Yes, cats are a hoot. Okay, let's see, what time do we got here? It's 1 o'clock. Now I will be having to get out of the house here in about an hour to go get that done. And we got Sheldy81. Question, Big John. What brand of sardines are best packed in oil or water? I would 100% say always get them packed in water if you can, if you have them available. Now, either way, they're tremendously nutritious. They're an awesome, nutritious type item. But the problems with soybean oil, or vegetable oil, or whatever kind of oil they come up with, it tends to trigger an inflammatory response, especially in myself. That's why I stay away from them. Now, if it's something you're not worried about, because people in other cultures, they do other things. They prefer soybean oil and stuff like that, but it's not, for some reason, it's not hurting them like it does to a lot of us. So I just try to avoid anything with seed oils and stuff like that, just to keep the inflammation down. Because, I mean, before, like I said, I couldn't sit here and have this conversation without being in dramatic pain, just sitting and doing nothing and then going to bed. So here's what I would do. I would come out here, I would sit down, I'd play my games on my phone. This is before weight loss. And I would just eat food. I would eat food. I'd eat breakfast. I'd eat lunch. I'd drink my coffee. And I'd usually ruin my coffee with that creamer, like a hazelnut or a French vanilla type creamer. And then all of a sudden it's already screwed up the day right there, just with my coffee alone. And then I would eat, 2 to 3 bowls of cereal. And I don't know why. It's just nuts. I mean, I look back at it now and I'm like, what was I doing to myself? And then I would be hurting sitting here and cranky because I'm hurting and acting out, to others in the household because I'm in pain. And I'm just going to the bedroom after that. I would lay down in bed, probably take a nap. And then I would wake up an hour, 2 hours later because my back hurt from laying down in the bed. I mean, I was crushing my mattress at 435 pounds. It was excruciatingly painful to get up and walk on the floor. So I had to get out and get special shoes, or I had to wear slippers just to walk around the house and go to the bathroom. And it was extremely annoying process of getting to this point. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be able to share with everybody that, hey, you don't need to go through all these nightmares that I went through. I mean, I'm hoping that somebody might hear my voice and be like, oh, there's other options, and what the doctor's talking about, or what the nutritionist or the guy at the gym saying I have to do for my routine. There are other options. And yeah, I'm proof of that. I mean, if I could show you a before and after picture, it would be pretty dramatic right now. And a lot of other people are on here, they're doing similar weight loss journeys. And I applaud every single one of them. Some of them are on here doing weight loss journeys, because they said that I inspired them to do so. That's huge. A whole YouTube channel has been started because of something I did and something I shared. That hits you right here in the heart. That's like, whoa, I did that? How did I do that? I mean, how did I inspire anybody? And when somebody says you're an inspiration to anybody, it's weird because you're not used to hearing it every day, because we're just living our lives. We're being normal people. I'm just in a trailer home, guys. I'm separating burger patties, just trying to do this for my own better health. And yeah, this week's been going pretty good, by the way, for those of you that do follow me. So far I have been, I've been pretty much, let's see, meat, butter, and salt and water for the majority of the week. Now, there is something I'm going to include probably in tomorrow's video, and I'll start filming that probably early in the morning and have that up either later in the afternoon on Saturday, or possibly I'll be putting that one out there sometime on Sunday, Monday at the latest. I try to get my videos up on the weekends because there's a lot of people out there that like to watch these videos on the weekend, and I get a lot of traffic on a Saturday and Sunday, which is crazy. So at least for me, being a small channel, I mean, I'm not trying to get 20, 30,000 views on every video. I'm just trying to connect with people that actually care or that are actually interested in the topics that I discuss. Let's see, what else we got here? Wow, Naked Beekeeper. That's an interesting handle there. Talk to us about the Jewish question. I don't know what Jewish question you're talking about. I see some interesting text there. I don't know what that means. How do you feel about pegging and the benefits? I'm not sure what pegging means. Hubby and I are going to be doing a dairy-free challenge because we are both stalled. Now, that's something that I did do under advice from Carnivore Cure, was to either cut my dairy consumption down 50%, or, oh, somebody's home. What is this? Oh, there's my wife. She just got home from the gym. Now, this coat that she's wearing, this was made in Nome, and it was sent down here, and it's got real fur on it. So I don't know what kind of fur that is. Could be
coyote.
Coyote, okay.
And beaver.
And beaver.
Black dyed beaver.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have family in Nome that makes this type of stuff, and it's just kind of interesting. And later today, like I said, we're going to try to get out and do the Rendezvous Festival. Maybe show you guys around the Rendezvous Festival a little bit. Now, this is a festival I normally don't go to because it's horribly cold this time of year. So, and it's an outdoor event, and I don't know why kids would get on these amusement park rides, you know, in like -degree, holy cow, cold zero temperatures, and get spun around in circles. But it's something that's been going on here for many years. But yeah, I got totally off track there. I apologize.
My fault.
I think that comment might have disappeared. I don't know where it went. I'll show you. Let's see, let the pegging start. I don't know what that means. Hubby and I are going to do dairy free. That's where we were. Okay, as far as dairy. Now, I was advised, because I was experiencing a weight loss stall, I was also screwed up because I was trying to quit nicotine at the wrong time of a weight loss journey. So if you're doing a weight loss journey, focus on your weight. Don't focus on anything else. If you're a smoker, just focus on your weight if that's what you're focused on. Either or, you know, if you want to quit smoking, don't worry about your weight. Focus on quitting smoking, or focus on quitting your addiction, whatever it may be. But I was advised to cut down my dairy intake to at least 50%. That's what I told myself. I was told to knock it off altogether. But because I like to put a lot of cheese, you know, on my burgers and stuff like that. So last week, not this actual week that we're going through now, but the week before this, I did knock it out down to about 50% or not at all. And I experienced a pretty decent weight drop that week. And I do believe I had 2 fasting days in there, and they were sardine egg fast type days. So I was eating sardines and eggs, and that's all I was eating. I wasn't adding in cheese. I wasn't adding in any sauces besides mustard to the sardines. And that was it. And I was just making up 6 to 8 eggs, and I'd scramble them up, throw them in a bowl. You can eat them fried, however you want. But I was just focused on getting the eggs in and being satiated from eating eggs, because it's really hard to be satiated when you're eating just sardines. Because I mean, I could eat about 15 cans of sardines and I would not feel full. I would have a ton of energy. I would have a ton of nutrition. So yeah, they make me hyper. They make me want to, you know, do stuff. I mean, they're like a multivitamin in a can, and it's just, they give you tons of omega-3s. Just, yeah, there's so much health in a can of sardines. I just broke a stall because I was under eating. That happens too. Yeah, that's a great point, Lindy. Limitless Lindy said, I just broke a stall because I was under eating. I ramped up my eating, and the scales are finally going down again. That messes with my head. It does mess with my head too, because I think she was around when I first started dabbling with carnivore, and I was having problems. I was having problems with digestion, but I thought it was the digestion issues were because of all the meat. Well, the digestive issues that I was experiencing within the first 2 months They weren't because of the meat. They were because my gut was so horribly screwed up from before, when I was eating all the yuck food, and there was just stuff stuck in there. And there was a period of time where things were coming out the other end that didn't look right. And I was a bit concerned. And I was talking to the community. I was also bouncing this back and forth with doctors and some of my friends. And it was concerning, because some of the poops you might see at times could be an indication of cancer. If they stick around for a prolonged time, they could be an indication of infection going on. But there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of adjustments that happen to the gut, to the inner wall of the gut lining and stuff like that, the further along you get. And then all of a sudden one day, just recently, it was like a light switch flipped on, and it was like, whoa, my stomach feels great. I mean, it's like, wow, it's a lot better. My digestion is better. This is stuff that I talk to people on a personal level about, but I do tend to talk about these things in the open, which is, I've had some just the most incredible bowel movements that I've ever had in my life since I was like 6-7 years old, when you used to leave those logs that used to run around the toilet, and you just look at them and you're like, that came out of me. I'm just a little dude. But yeah, I've had a few of those. And that, at this age, when you have a movement like that, it's like you're just like, yeah, all right, I'm pooping right. Because when I was working for the pharmaceutical company, we had a day of the week or a day of the month. I can't remember if it was a month or during the week, but we'd call it poop day, because we'd get a lot of these big giant bottles of like magnesium pills, magnesium supplements, and stuff like that to distribute around the community for those people becoming horribly constipated from the other bags of stuff they had for pills and stuff like that. It was just amazing how many pills some of these people would have, and then those pills created constipation. So then we'd have to bring them out another bag full of pills just to get them unconstipated. And I'm like, we're not winning here. We're not doing anything fantastic. Let's see, what did you do in pharmaceuticals? I was something they called a go-tech. Now, I was the guy, and I had all the qualifications and stuff like that. I just didn't have the qualifications to work in the pharmacy. I could have worked in the pharmacy as a technician, but that would have required a little bit more education, and also some more qualifications there might have been included. But I was the go-tech, so my job responsibilities included, oxygen concentrator setups, delivering medications, picking up hospice type stuff, setting up hospice situations for patients, explaining and training the customers and the patients themselves at times, how to safely use the equipment, because some of this stuff you can get hurt. I mean, you can electrocute yourself in some cases, you can burn down the house in some cases. And the whole time I was there, I had a good amount of smoking patients. I don't want to guess because I don't want to get that number wrong, but I had a lot of smoking patients that were on oxygen. I wasn't there for that long, but throughout that time, I think I lost all but one smoking patient, that was either on oxygen, or it was incredible how fast they went. They didn't stick around. They didn't live long. I mean, they just refused to quit smoking. And some of the houses were just full of tar. They were covered in yellow mess and stuff like that. Let's see, Eunice, when you don't drink enough water, your body retains it, much like in a camel. I was just talking about that. I'm not sure if I was talking about that. That was my wife that said that, Real Alaska Fishing. But I did mention that to somebody else just recently. It could have been her. But yeah, we are a lot like a camel. We pack the water away in our legs and other parts of our body. So the first waterway to go is going to be, in our legs when we first start losing weight. So that's the first thing to come off. It's going to be the waterway. That's also the quickest and easiest thing to get off. And the strange part about it is, if you're looking to lose water weight, with next to no effort, for me at least, I had to drink more water, which seems crazy. Like, why would I drink a gallon of water to try to get rid of a gallon of water? But it worked. It worked quickly. And also having the proper electrolytes and stuff like that was extremely helpful, because if you're low on electrolytes and you're low on your water intake, you're not going to lose weight. I mean, you're just going to sit there and stall. You're going to fight it the whole time. You're going to be a miserable cow, because, yeah, all those years, how many times like a lot of us, if you're my age, you know, around 50, 60, 70 years old, how many times do we go through this? You know, we lost weight, we gained weight, we didn't know why we lost weight, and we thought we did, but we really didn't until we got older. Like now we're older, we're starting to understand and be more realistic. We're like, oh well, and since our food supply has changed and we're getting nothing but yucky food, you got, you know, businesses and restaurants and all these different places cutting corners just to make a profit. We have to be careful. And this goes for the younger generation too. So if there's anybody young out there, you know, you're in your teens, you're in pretty good health. I get it. I was there too. And then we tend to just not care. Like, oh, Red Bull. Yeah, Red Bull's great. You know, the Red Bull's so cool. Yeah, I guess what? I was there too. I thought Red Bull was great. I thought Mountain Dew was better than coffee. I lived it. Mountain Dew almost killed me. Red Bull almost killed me. Yeah, for real. It shuts down the pancreas. It goes after your kidneys. It goes after your large intestine. It causes inflammation inside your gut. It makes it so you can't digest food properly. And plus the sugar content in these drinks alone shut off pretty much all potential weight loss for the day. So you have to be so hyperactive and actually physically doing stuff in order to lose weight in those situations. I guess hopefully you see where I'm getting at. But when I was younger, you know, if I were on the other end of the screen listening to a guy like me, I'd just be sitting there, oh, scroll. I'm going to roll on. See you later, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. 'Cause I'm perfectly healthy and I'm lifting weights. And yeah, I was there. I was that guy. You know, even at my youngest age, it was crazy. Got any advice for a 21-year-old? Gee. Okay, if I was to do this at 21 years old, the best advice I probably have would be read and understand all the ingredients on all your labels. Understand what things do. Understand the carcinogens. Understand that there's 50 different words for sugar. I mean, there's 50 different words for sugar, and they trick us. I mean, if you're trying to avoid sugar, if you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle, just toning down on the sugars, totally eliminate high fructose corn syrup at every turn. That will help keep you healthy right away. I mean, just getting rid of the high fructose corn syrup, and that's all you do, and you still eat bread and you eat other crap, you're going to be light years ahead of the rest of your friends that are drinking soda pop, Red Bull, you know, Monster energy drinks and stuff like that. That stuff, it's not good for you. Plus, a lot of times the caffeine, that's a good word. I just made up a new word, caffeine. But the caffeine levels are too high in a lot of these drinks. And if you drink too much caffeine, it will affect other parts of your body as well, like your stomach, for instance, and the stomach lining, your esophagus, and it does all kinds of crazy things. This is the other foo for butt I was talking about. This is the one that has got all my other cats up in arms and just constantly running about the house. Now, my female cat, Molly, she was here before these two, this one and Gray Bear, and she was mean. She was horribly mean. She would try to kill me, but we got these cats for a reason, because we live in an old trailer home in Alaska, and that's where the mice like to run. They like to come to the trailer parks, run in and out of the house, and these cats do their job. They're working cats, and we treat them really well for what they do. So yeah, quite often you'll find a mouse here or there. We just take care of it, but it's near impossible to keep mice out of these homes in Alaska because they're constantly looking for a place to go. If there's a hole, they're going to find it. And it doesn't mean you live in a nasty home. It just means that there's a way to get in your house, and they're going to come in and check it out. So, all right, thanks for this. You just made me not want to drink Red Bull anymore. Well, if you could, just try to avoid Red Bull. Now, I took a long, deep dive into what I used to do when I was younger. So when I was, like, say, 16, 17, I wasn't drinking a lot of soda back then. Now, we had a lot of Kool-Aid and Tang and stuff like that, but we weren't drinking it in excess. We were drinking it as a treat, you know, similar to what ice creams used to be. Now we have ice cream available around every corner, and it's easy to go buy a caramel frap, latte, whatever, McFlurry, you name it. We have so much access to these easy options that it just makes it so easy for us to just make bad decisions. And I'm that guy. I made a lot of bad decisions. That's how I got to be 435 pounds. This is why I'm out here talking about it, because I don't want people to have to go to that limit. And I did do a video on how it happened. And it's sad. it's a sad video. I don't even like to think about it because the whole topic of getting to be that heavy, and some of the people out here on the platform, they got up to 700 pounds. And I don't know if I haven't had time to go through their entire playlist to figure out, if they had a story about how it happened, because that's usually the first thing that anybody that's healthy, that looks at somebody like us that got over 300 pounds, that got up over 400 pounds, and some of us that got up to 700 pounds. And even I do. I'm just curious, like, hey, how did that happen? Is there a way we can share with others to explain how this happened? Now, a lot of it happens through depression, anxiety, isolation, and stuff like that. And that's stuff that a lot of the younger generation's starting to experience now, as they're just so hyper-focused on their phones and their devices and their tablets. And everything has to be a smart device. Everything's easy. You don't have to work for anything anymore. Even to make a phone call. If we wanted to make a phone call and we were kids, we had to walk down to the corner, and then we had to walk home because we forgot our dime, we forgot our nickel, we forgot our quarter. And then we had to know exactly what we were going to say pretty quick, because that dime didn't last long in the phone booth. But you get what I mean. And then if we wanted to go to the store, we were walking to the store. Now there's Ubers, there's Lyfts, there's taxi cabs, there's electric scooters, bicycles, and skateboards. Everything is so incredibly easy. So how are we supposed to stay healthy when everything's easy? I've even looked at electric bicycles. I'm like, oh, that would be so much fun, but I still haven't gone out and bought one. Because I got a regular bicycle sitting in my shed that I want to use, and hopefully I can get a little bit more weight off so it can be more comfortable to ride this summer, because I thought about doing some trips around town, just with a little camera on the front, just the basic ride along type videos, to show you guys a little bit around Alaska and say, like, hey, check out these bike paths. You don't see them. I mean, you see bike paths everywhere here in Alaska, but you don't see the actual beauty of where that bike path takes you. The small creeks, the little fields, the streams, and they're all over the place. And we have a coastal bike path too that takes you all the way down the coastline. That's a big to-do with tourists, and they come here. That's a really busy bike path, so you got to be careful when you're out there. Yes, moderation is incredibly important. Dummy child, where do you guys come up with this stuff? You got some crazy handles there. I enjoy reading them. Dummy child. Okay, let's see. I'm all for healthy eating, but what does that have to do with carnivore diet? Well, the carnivore diet is not something you have to do for the rest of your life. It's one of the ultimate elimination diets, in my opinion. And it's also very hard to lose weight, at least for me. Some people lose a lot of weight. I have lost weight doing the carnivore diet, but I have to implement for me personally, I have to implement in fasting days, or else I will just maintain whatever my weight loss is. And so, like, I lost my first 100 pounds, and then all of a sudden I got to lose more. So now I'm focused on, more fat loss than water weight. And that takes a lot of time too. But the nice thing about the carnivore diet is it works with a lot of our eating habits, because I have an eating disorder like thousands of other people out here. And some of those thousands of people out here are on the other end of the screen right now. They can hear my voice and they're going to argue this. I don't have an eating disorder. Well, okay. Sorry, but a lot of us do. And my eating disorder was, my generation was taught to eat everything on our plate. It didn't matter. If somebody served you a plate of food, we ate it. And we stuck with that. And it's hardwired into our brain, because we were punished if we didn't eat our food. And then when we go out to eat and stuff like that, for some of us, it's just an inconvenience to take that food home with us in a to-go box. Whatever happened to those days? I rarely did that, for quite a long while, as I rarely took a to-go box home, because, when I was younger and the food supply was totally different back then, we'd eat a little bit and we'd have a to-go box. I would have my to-go box. My girlfriend at the time would have to-go boxes, or anybody else. We'd all have a to-go box, to take home. And quite often it just got fed to the dog or whatever. We never ate it. It sat in the fridge, and we tossed it out. But back then we ate differently. We ate different types of foods that were healthier for us at that time. But the carnivore diet helps with my eating disorder of, I want to eat everything. And I had a serious addiction problem with pizza, of all things, pizza. That was one of my major talking points, especially early on, is my pizza addiction is kind of curbed now. Once in a while, when I do have an addiction for pizza, I'll make a chicken crust pizza, or I'll even substitute a chicken crust pizza with a cauliflower crust pizza from Costco, and there's 2 different types there to choose from. And the whole pizza, you can eat the whole pizza, and it's only like, what, 1,000, 1,100 calories, maybe 1,400 calories. You can eat that entire pizza in one sitting, and it'll still keep you in ketosis. And I have had real good success with weight loss. So that's part of the 10%. I like to say that I eat a 90-10 eating principle, and I try to focus on more 100% carnivore type eating. So in the 10% might be something like a cauliflower pizza, or once in a while it might be a bite of a sweet. But I try to limit that down to, conscious decisions, ketosis friendly things too. So if I'm going off the carnivore rails for that 10% part of it, it might be a little bit of something ketosis friendly. And pretty much I don't even do that much anymore. I mean, I'm more focused on eating, meats and fats. And if I should have like a serious sugar craving where I just feel like I can't get out of the pantry, like, you know how we do that. We go back and forth to the fridge. We're opening the door. We're looking in there like, what's in here? And a lot of times we'll just shut the door. And if we come up with a crazy idea of what we're going to eat, it's going to be something like, maybe a bowl of cereal or a package of ramen noodles. That was one of my favorite things to yuck it up with. And, that's kind of like my wreck it nights that me and the wife used to have. And we used to call it that. We'd wreck it up. We'd order a pizza at 1 and 2 in the morning. But there are other options out there. But one thing I've found out is if you seriously increase your protein intake, you're going to decrease your yuck food intake because the proteins fill you up so much faster. So let's say I made 4 hamburgers. I had 2 sitting in the fridge. I had an unhealthy craving. I'd go for one of those hamburgers or a hard-boiled egg or something like that. Hard-boiled eggs work good. Another tool that I used was dill pickles. That worked extremely well for weight loss. It also kept me in ketosis. I ate the crap out of them for a while, especially in the beginning. I was eating a ton of dill pickles. I was pickling eggs, hard-boiled eggs. I ate a bunch of those. And it was just, there's a lot of tools and there's a lot of options out there. So one of my problems is sometimes I get a sweet tooth. I'll get a craving for something really unhealthy. I might be sitting here doing research about what I want to talk about in my next video. And I'll get a sweet tooth and I'll be looking, there won't be anything readily available to grab except for fruit in the fruit basket. Well, at times I will get into fruit. I might eat an apple or a banana at times, but that's the worst of it because that kept me from, getting in the pantry or eating a bowl of cereal, which was going to just throw me completely just out of whack. Now, granted, the natural sugars and the fibers and stuff like that in the apple will put you out of whack, but you're still going to be on a level playing field when it comes to the whole process overall. So it's not going to put you out of whack like you just ate a whole chocolate bar or a piece of cake or had a big, huge bowl of ice cream that's just loaded with who knows what's in there. Let's see, who else do we got in here? CP, pry my eyes open, pee in them. That's a little inappropriate. Huh. Nice to see you, though. Sarah Flint, I do agree. Protein is better than sugar. And that really all depends on what type of lifestyle you're trying to live. Now, for me personally, I just like to try to continuously lose weight. I'm still a big guy. I'm huge. I mean, I'm 6'2". I'm still over 300 pounds. We're fighting to get back down under 300 pounds. I've been under 300 pounds 2 or 3 times in this weight loss journey. And somebody shouted out to Real Alaska Fishing, Milano's has great food too. Yes, Milano's does. And so when my wife and family take trips to Nome. What?
Milano sucks since they got new ownership.
Oh no.
It's airport pizza, that's good.
They got new ownership at Milano's in Nome, so I guess the quality kind of dipped a little bit.
Yes, it did.
So now I guess it's airport pizza in Nome.
Yes.
That's the preferred one, according to her.
That's where the
But
Milano's
with the old owners in Milano's in Nome, and Milano's was amazing. When I go to visit, they were awesome people, great owners at the time. And so if I wasn't up there and we had relatives coming down, we'd ask them to bring a pizza with them because it's only about like an hour and a half, 2-hour flight. They would just get a pizza and they'd take it on the airplane and they'd bring it down. It'd still be warm by the time it got here to Anchorage, believe it or not. And it was pretty good. So when my wife went up there for about a month, she came down with Milano's Pizza, and it was good stuff. And granted, it's not on the playing field of what I'm doing now, but like I said, I used to be a pizza addict. That's what I ate. You know, real Alaska fishing. Okay, good to know. I'm north from Nome. So whereabouts you at, Andrew? Northwest Coins. Oh, I've talked to you before. I just can't remember whereabouts. You in Barrow or somewhere? I don't know. But ever chat with your doctor about how colon cancer is becoming one of the leading causes of death for men? Absolutely. Oh, Shizmaref. That's where Andrew is from. Thank you for responding to that, because it's nice to know where people are from when they say they're from anywhere for that matter. But okay, back to L. He's talking about, have you ever talked to your doctor about colon cancer? Absolutely. And that was a concern early on in my CPAP journey before I even started losing weight, because my sleep apnea was so horrible. It was throwing me signals that I had colon cancer. I was constantly urinating every 45 minutes, regardless, all day long. Even when I slept, I was being woke up. My anxiety was through the roof. I was experiencing random constipation, and the constipation was evolved around sleep apnea. I was starving my organs of oxygen. I was starving my body of everything at that point. There was so much going on. Plus, I was eating unhealthy on top of that. And so, yeah, colon cancer was a huge issue right there that I thought I was experiencing. Thankfully, I wasn't. I've had plenty of cancer screens since then. I've had MRIs, I've had CT scans, checking for other various things. And I got to keep track of the time here, because I will have to boot out of here. And I don't know when the battery's going to die on my phone. So if it randomly dies, I'm sorry. And I do appreciate everybody's interaction here. But colon cancer is on the rise. It's definitely on the rise. It's on the rise with a lot of people here in Alaska. I had colon cancer patients. I feel sorry for them. It's a miserable way to go. And you go fast. It's not a quick type of cancer. Very few people actually survive it, that I'm finding out. And those people that do survive it tend to have a horrible life after they get diagnosed with colon cancer, because it does so much damage to your body. Ugh. I mean, I pray for those people. If you're experiencing it now, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. But anytime you're diagnosed with something like that, the doctors tend to prescribe you a similar diet to a ketosis type diet, a carnivorous type diet. I've never heard of them prescribing anybody a vegan diet, ever, for anything. So just keep that in mind. And I'm not out here just to bash on vegans, but I'm just saying, I have never once heard doctors talk about, hey, go eat a lot of vegetables to cure this. I've never heard that. And I've been in the medical industry on and off for quite a while. I have a lot of friends that are in there too, and I'm pretty sure they'd back up what I'm talking about here. Because usually when you get diagnosed with cancer, they're like, hey, you need to cut out the sugars, number one thing. You need to increase your oxygen levels. Yeah, of course. You need to decrease your stress levels. So, and just eating a meat type diet, fat-based meat type diet, will put your body in ketosis and autophagy, which is very beneficial for cancer patients. So if your body's in autophagy, your body's replacing the old bad cells with good cells. So it's potentially going after those cancer cells and putting it in remission, just reverting it back to like a benign type tumor or something like that. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to get too far into that, because this is just the stuff I've learned while I was in the medical industry, and it's just interesting stuff. So if you want to prevent cancers, you need to cut out that big giant laundry list of ingredients that's on the majority of products we consume. Even if you're not on a carnivorous type diet, focus on whole foods, one ingredient foods. If you're going to eat fruits, pay attention to what the fruits are. Research what the fruits do to you. Because sometimes people have a lot of adverse reactions to vegetables and fruits. I've never had an adverse reaction to any type of meat so far. Now, sometimes you might get diarrhea because you have too much fat in your diet, but that's pretty much the biggest side effect I've had from eating meat, is having a diarrhea, or what I thought might be constipation, but it didn't turn out to be constipation, because it was other previous issues getting dealt with as I went along. So it was uncomfortable. And now it's funny, the movements, the bowel movements that we have on carnivore, people are like, well, isn't it like just liquidy paste? No, it's a nice, healthy turd. And quite often you don't even need to use toilet paper when you wipe. I mean, you wipe and it doesn't even leave a mark on the toilet paper. That's how clean it is. And that's without plant fiber. You know, they keep saying, well, you got to have plant fiber. It's like, who is they? And why are they saying that? It's like, we've been told this for many years. And if I eat plant fiber, and this has been something that was ongoing all the time, the more plant fiber I had, the more diarrhea I had. And also, so I would either have diarrhea or severe constipation, depending on what the plant fiber was. So now that I'm avoiding plant fiber for the most part, except for the random fruits, and I will have onions at times, you know, stuff like that. You might throw in a stew pot, celery. That's okay. I mean, you don't have to eat that stuff. It's just nice to have the flavor added into the meat. It's kind of like adding garlic or something like that to a meal. Just gives it a little bit of flavor. And I said this earlier on, I don't focus too much on, you know, the dangers of the sauces or stuff like that, except for when the products say they have, you know, high fructose corn syrup or food colorings or stuff like that. I pay real close attention to that stuff because the high fructose corn syrup will send you out in the left field with just a little bit. It's a super punch in the body when you're just taking in the high fructose corn syrup at any level. It's just too much. I mean, it's just a super sugar, and it's really inexpensive. So you're finding it in everything we got now. I mean, if you're looking at snacks and stuff like that, just simple snacks that used to be healthy, you know, like Welch's fruits, you know, little fruit snacks for kids. They're just full of garbage. They got high fructose corn syrup, and then they add more sugar. Why do they need more sugar in a children's snack? That's supposed to be a fruit snack. So just read labels, understand labels, know what these weird words are. If you can't understand the word, type it into Google search, figure it out what it does, figure out where it comes from, you know, figure out what effect it might have on the body, and you'll be way ahead. Sarah Flint, you need to be introduced to Google. Okay, anyways, let's see. I don't think a reputable doctor has ever said non-sugar heavy vegetables are bad for you. I haven't heard a doctor say that heavy vegetables are good for you either. I have had them say, like, you know, you need to eat more salads or stuff like that, but they really don't get into detail because they're so incredibly vague. And that was a lot of the problem too, is their doctors were incredibly vague about stuff they were talking about. You know, they tell you, oh, you need to lose weight, but they wouldn't give you much advice on how. Then they would send you over to like a nutritionist or something like that. You talk to the nutritionist, and if you're not receptive, you're not really hearing what the nutritionist has to say. And quite often the nutritionist or the doctors, they're just trying to tell you how smart they are, and they use big words that we can't comprehend anyways because our brains are swollen. So if you're eating a lot of inflammatory products, your head swells, like it actually gets bigger, and it creates a lot of pressure on the brain. It also creates a lot of problems with your thought processes, how you communicate with one another and understand one another. So when I was 435 pounds, and I got a couple instances that I have on video that we have recorded now, where I didn't look like I was coherent. I was sitting here at the table talking to my wife. My eyes were like wide open, crazy looking, and I'm playing on my phone, and I'm talking almost like a toddler. And it scared me to watch that video, you know, because my wife was talking about, at that time, I wasn't losing weight. We were going out to, my son was doing something. We needed to pick him up from an event, but he was right next to the Krispy Kreme. And the only thing on my mind at that time, does Krispy Kreme have cream-filled donuts? I don't want to go if they don't have cream-filled donuts. And I was just talking like there was something mentally wrong with me. And quite frankly, there was. I was morbidly obese. I was suffering from swelling. I was suffering from a lot of things that I needed to figure out. And hopefully, yeah, the inflammation has gone way down. Inflammation is the number one killer. Now, inflammation is also a number one indicator for stuff like colon cancer. I believe you're the one that mentioned it before. I mean, if you reduce the amount of inflammation in the body, you're reducing the amount of, you know, random cancers and stuff like that. And if you're reducing the amount of sugar, which is something that cancer feeds off of, I mean, it's something it just loves. It's like feeding a toddler sugar and watching them run around. That's what cancer does inside the body. If you feed it sugar, and it just wants to go places, then all of a sudden you got cancer in the blood. And sorry about your luck, I'll have to see you later. Let's see. You're a grown man who's talking to kids. Yeah, we're talking to a lot of kids here actually, because there's a lot of kids that are interested in losing weight, because this is like an epidemic in this country, in the United States and other countries too. There's a lot of children that are trying to figure out how to figure out their own issues, their own depression issues and stuff like that. So yeah, they're more than welcome to chime in here and jump along. And I do try to respond to these people in an intelligent way. You're a legend for realizing this stuff, man. Seriously, much respect to you. Ryder, go run your mouth somewhere else. It's okay for Ryder to run his mouth here. You know, I even in my regular feeds, I do appreciate all the negative comments because it gives me something to talk about. And I'm not here to talk negatively about Ryder Dotson because, you know, he's got a valid point. There are a lot of children that have been chiming in, especially in this type of stream here, because it just funnels down through the shorts feed and you can just keep swiping. But the thing is if children aren't interested in what I'm saying, they have the same options like everybody else. They can swipe away. And if they find me interesting and they find me informative and hopefully something that I say might, you know, initiate a better lifestyle in them, is that so bad? I mean, if I'm being inappropriate, then yeah, I need to adjust my wording and I have to take that into consideration. But all right, let's see. We're into an hour, 20 minutes. We have 30 people in the stream. I just wanted to wave hi. I'm Big John from Alaska. I have to periodically introduce myself because we have people coming and going. I live here in Anchorage, Alaska. I'm a very humble guy. I figured out how to lose weight with little to no exercise. I like to come on here at times and talk about health-related things that I'm doing, maybe like the type of foods I'm eating, the type of eating I'm doing. I do this with little to no exercise. So yeah, I started out everything with a series of fastings and stuff like that, and everything moved on into you know, ketogenic type eating, carnivore type eating. Now here lately, I'm focused more on carnivore type eating principles because it's just working. It works well for my eating disorder of eat everything. So I can eat 4 hamburgers, just hamburgers. Sometimes I'll put cheese on them. I've reduced the amount of cheese, which has been helpful, especially considering I'm in this to lose weight. I'm also in this to gain better health. I mean, and throughout the whole process, I didn't know nothing about salts. You know, certain types of salts are not healthy. I had some around here somewhere, but they're like regular Morton salt, the white stuff. Yeah, I don't use that stuff anymore on any of my foods. I use salts. I use good, healthy salts, and we need salts for electrolytes. Everybody needs them. I don't care who you are, what your lifestyle is. If you don't have electrolytes, you're having issues with something. Something's going on either up here, down here, you know, in your heart, in your organs. You got some issues if you're low on electrolytes, because if you completely drain your body of electrolytes, you seriously shut down. Your body shuts down. It's like not drinking any water. You got to have water too. But I learned these healthy salts like Redmond salt, which is made here in the United States. Himalayan pink salt's one of my favorite ones. It's really not a specific flavor to it, but it is one of my favorite salts to use, either from India, Pakistan, or it's made in Canada. Now, I have done some research on Himalayan pink salts from other places like China, and you got to be careful with some things from China, depending on who the distributor is, because sometimes you will find heavy metals, which is something we try to avoid. And it could be potentially in all salts to some degree, but some higher content levels of heavy metals have been found in some Chinese manufactured Himalayan pink salt. Another one is Celtic sea salt. I don't prefer that one because it tastes like dirty seafloor to me. I mean, if you've ever gone swimming in an ocean and you got wiped out by a wave, just even standing there as a kid, and you just got a mouthful of seawater, that's kind of what Celtic sea salt or Celtic is it? Celtic, whatever, sea salt tastes like to me. So I don't like it that much. I will put it on certain foods, but I don't like using it to make electrolytes. And if you want to make your own electrolytes at home, you just take a good quality mineral salt, like one of the 3 I mentioned. You just, put a little bit in water, just fill the glass with water and just mix it up. I got my own personal mixture of what I make, but I do these things for my reason. And I like to add in lemon juice, and lemon juice has a lot of nutritional value. I also like to use apple cider vinegar, tons of nutritional value there. I mean, the stuff I'm talking about here, in order to really absorb what I'm saying, needs to be researched by the person on the other end of the screen, and that's you. And there's tons of nutritional value in lemon juice. And there's also a ton of value in apple cider vinegar. And not all apple cider vinegar is the same. When they say with the mothers, the mothers is really just a little bit of fiber that's added in there. I don't know if it actually has, because I like to use Bragg's, and I don't know if the mothers has any benefit to it at all. But I know the apple cider vinegar worked for me when I was experiencing kidney stones, and I was experiencing kidney stones because I was eating a garbage gut type of diet. So yeah, I was eating a lot of foods with a lot of extra oxalates, a lot of extra unneeded minerals that I didn't need, because vegetables have hidden secrets. And if you eat too many of something, or you might be eating too many nuts or too much spinach, and yeah, spinach can create kidney stones if you didn't know that. Cashews can create kidney stones. A lot of nuts, almonds and stuff like that. There's a lot of hidden secrets inside a lot of these things, and everything needs to be eaten in the appropriate amount. Now, when they talk about the consumption of nuts, they're not talking about sitting down on the whole thing of peanuts, a big jar of peanuts, and consuming the whole thing. They're talking about one or two handfuls, like literally handfuls. That's it. That's where you're supposed to stop. But who does that? You give me a jar of cashews, I'm kind of on a mission to finish that off pretty quickly. And that's just why I try to tend this way away from stuff like that. Is we do that. We just randomly just annihilate it. It's just like a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I'll sit there and I'll finish it until it's all gone. And that's a lot of ice cream and a pint. I don't know that I used to eat a lot of nuts. Chuck Smith. I don't know that. I used to eat a lot of nuts. Yeah, if you should happen to start getting kidney stones and they become an issue, they're horribly painful, by the way. You can almost feel them like as they start their journey from trying to get from inside here wherever to their way out, and when they start coming out the urethra, it's like fire. It's like fire just happened, and it can cause bleeding. It can cause a lot of problems, and then it can cause infection along with that. So you kind of want to avoid that. So if it starts to cause infection, you might be looking at urinary tract infection and stuff like that. And trust me, you don't want to do that as a male. The people that go through that go through a lot of pain, and it's not the pretty type pain either that you want to think of. Let's see. Hi, man. Hello. Avocados are the best. Now, I will use a little bit of avocado once in a while. It's a great natural healthy fat, in my opinion, and it works with a lot of different lifestyles. Even a 90-10 carnivore type eating principle, it works pretty well with that. Avocados tend to keep you in ketosis. You can eat a full avocado if you want. A lot of people eat half of it and put the other half away until later, but it was always a good healthy fat option. And it works well with the digestive tract as well. It doesn't seem to create a whole lot of problems for me either if I should have an avocado once in a while. So, all right. Let's see, Chuck Smith. I've had them. Praise God. Oh, yeah, you don't want to have kidney stones, Chuck. They're absolutely miserable, especially when you can get them on you do like a CT scan and they scan your gut and they can find them. And it's just like, man, because sometimes they got to go in there and zap them and make them smaller. So there are ways to avoid having random kidney stones. They're just horribly painful. And we're approaching 2 o'clock here in Alaska time. So I'm probably going to be cutting the feed right now. I'm starting to power out of stuff I need to talk about. I need to save some relevance for this other video I might be doing here later on. Plus, I need to charge my phone before I get to the doctor's. So I did want to say hi and bye to anybody just chiming in. V. Osbaum is from Fairbanks area. I appreciate you dropping in. And I will be looking at possibly doing another live stream this evening at Ferrandi. We're doing a blanket toss. I believe the blanket toss is going to be around 5:30, 5 o'clock in that range. So you might expect another random live stream to pop up. If anybody's just hanging out at home on YouTube, scrolling through the shorts, that's the easiest way I'll probably pop up on your stream just randomly. So right on. The Real Bigfoot. All right, 542 and Key, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, says hello. Yeah, we're from Anchorage, Alaska, and we're just giving a shout out to everybody that seems to pop up here real quick. And, I'll probably be cutting the stream here real fast unless I come up with something interesting to respond to. I'll sub to your channel. We'll talk later. All right, well, thank you for the extra subscription. I do appreciate the subscriptions. I don't try to beg for subscribers either, because You know, if this stuff is interesting to you and you really sincerely need a little help, maybe a push, I try to be really active with the entire community around weight loss. I don't focus 100% on carnivore topics. I mean, I do welcome anybody. I have a lot of experience screwing it up because I've screwed it up for the majority of my life trying to figure out how to lose weight. And right now, it's the time where I can actually focus on myself, but I can also focus on everybody else that comes in here and chimes in. And I can be like, hey, you know, I tried different things and this worked well, even though, you know, it might not be a carnivore topic, it might be a ketogenic topic or something like that, or a fasting topic, you know, because I do still fast. I fast from time to time. Fasting is something that everybody can benefit from, everybody. And it doesn't have, fasting doesn't have to be miserable. It's only miserable if you're not doing it correctly. And people are, well, how can I do it correctly? It's all up here. It's all in the mind. And it's all about setting up your mind with a start point and you have an end date. You just don't randomly starve yourself. That is not good, because if you're randomly starving yourself, you're not including the brain in that process. You're just literally not eating. And people that starve themselves in third world countries, it's not how they want to lose weight either. So, and they're looking for food. They want to eat food. They just don't have it available. So don't starve yourself. You know, if you're going to do fasting, research different types of fasting, what might work for you. I still believe it's important to fast, you know, either the day before a holiday or after a holiday. And it doesn't have to be a full day fast either. It could be a 24-hour fast where you're just eating, let's say, breakfast, and you skip the rest of the meals, you know, until the holiday, or vice versa. You can do it on the other end of the holiday too, because fasting allows your gut, no matter what type of lifestyle you're living, it allows your gut a timely manner to actually adjust and heal to whatever you did on that holiday, because we tend to overeat, we tend to snack more, we tend to get into the sweets, we tend to just eat a lot of food. Sometimes we're drinking a lot of alcohol. It's important just to give our body a chance to readjust so we can live the rest of the week. But my mouth's getting dry. I need to get some water. I appreciate everybody that's jumped in. I love the interaction. Hi from Scotland. That's from the Voice of Reason. I appreciate you dropping in. My wife's responding to Priscilla. These two know each other personally here in Alaska. And Worthy Prince is giving a wave. Thank you for coming in. Like I said, I'll be on hopefully later, you know, 2-3 hours to do this for Rendezvous Festival, and hopefully, you know, explain what's going on, show you guys around a little bit. It'll probably be a lot less of my face, and you might appreciate that. Maybe not. I don't know. I try to keep the random streams busy. I try to keep, you know, a lot of information coming in and out. And I love the interaction aspect of, you know, this particular type of live stream, because it gives me a chance to, you know, see what's being said. And I'm not just randomly creating a video from my perspective and then hearing it third person, you know, in the comment section. This is a way more fun to interact with people and hopefully get people to live a better and healthier lifestyle. But all right, until next time, guys, I'm going to sit here and fumble with the buttons, and we're going to be closing out this live stream. So I do appreciate everybody, and I hope to see you all again